Hey guys, thanks for coming along with my rebuild of this old milling machine. We're going to jump a bit in the timeline just because some of the earlier videos of me working on the machine, I'm mumbling a lot. I'll just show you some of the newer clips where I'm covering some of the stuff I want to show, like the conversion from the old controller to the new controller. I actually think it's quite an interesting process, and I might be doing a video on that alone, more in depth, less handheld recording, even though it's much easier for me just to throw on the camera on my phone and just walk around the machine talking and mumbling a lot. I don't think it's very informative, and I don't like watching those kind of videos myself. So if you guys would like it, I might do a video on the conversion alone, where I go in more depth how to wire up the machine to the new controller, the Mesa controller. This machine was actually a lot easier than the Mazak, just because it used standard DIN connectors, you know, the 37 and the 15 pins connectors, whereas the Mazak uses Honda connectors, and I just could not for the life of me find Honda connectors. The previous owners just snipped the connectors off and soldered the wires to the control board. I don't like that method, but it works, and there's not really an alternative for that machine, whereas this with the Height 9 controller is a lot easier. So if you guys would like that, write a comment. I'm probably going to make one anyway, but I'm really enjoying your guys' feedback, even though there's just a few of you. It does make me really happy to see there's other people like me who likes this kind of stuff. It's kind of a niche thing, but I just really find these machines interesting and exciting. Machining is my main interest, but restoration of these old machines is just really interesting. Kind of love digging through the electronics as well. Makes me feel like an archaeologist going through and digging up old technology and figuring out how to wire it up with newer technology, even though it's pretty well documented in forums and on the net. I just think it's really interesting, and I love it. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, even though it's a little messy. I might be a little hard to understand sometimes. I really hope you enjoyed the video. So it's been quite a while since I've last worked on the machine and made an update. Now you're actually seeing the machine without the covers on, the whole machining enclosure. We removed it when I got the machine, then I put it back on to put on the controller. Now I've removed it again because it's just a nightmare to work with. It's just sheet metal, folded, welded, and screwed with nuts and bolts all over the place. Really just seemed like an afterthought. That, oh yeah, this machine should have an enclosure. We better assemble one. But now I've removed it again, and I'm beginning to remove the back covers. They're right there. So now you can look right through and into the nightmare of this dirty machine. I don't know if you can see, I can take my lamp. You can see there, it's just piled up. It's so horrible. There's even bolts, and I have no idea what's lying here. I found a bottle cap here when we first got the machine. And if you can see, it's just, oh my god, oh jeez, oh damn, oh, that's actually mine. Now the plan is to remove the bottom part of the enclosure. We discovered that it has a angled mount onto the casting of the machine. On those four angles, there's some threaded rods up into a beam essentially, and in that beam the bottom is mounted to. So pick your poison. You want to remove the whole angle block assembly, the angle block beam, or just remove the cover. And I'm going to pick the latter. But I have to say, the machine is just much more manageable in this state. It's so much easier to work on. It went from a chore. It's just a pleasure. I don't know if I've showed this yet, but the control cabinet is being worked on. I actually designed this upside down. This was supposed to be here, but I didn't realize the space on the top of the cabinet. You can actually see there is not much more space than 1.5 millimeters or something like that. So I had to flip it around, open up the mounting holes. So yeah, that screwed a bit with my design. I've actually made mounting holes here for a little angle to mount the DIN ports I've made. But now I actually have to redo it down here. So it's not meant to be this much of a mess, obviously, but well, it is what it is. And I would also like to get the motor drivers inside the cabinet. Either this cabinet, the main relay cabinet, or that cabinet, which is basically the spindle cabinet. There's the spindle drive, there's a drawer bar, the solenoids, whatever, relay. There's also the fan blower motor, relay, the spindle blower motor, relay. Anyway, there's more space in that cabinet to have these drives installed in, but there are existing motor drives in this cabinet from the AC servos. And if I haven't stated that before, yes, I'm not going to use them. They are located there. I have looked into reusing it, but this encoder is just... I have no idea how to wire it up. Asked around the forums, they have no idea. Some of them were proposing getting EXE converters from Heidenhain, but those cost around $1,000 per converter, and I just don't have that. The machine is not even worth that much. So if I were to restore the old motors, I'd probably have to pay more in conversion kit than I did for the whole machine. And when you're looking around with the rust and the dirt, that's probably, well, I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. My plan with this is actually, well, plan. There's lots of plans, little action. Right now I have 3 NEMA 34s, which look ridiculous driving this relatively huge machine, but they are amazingly strong. I am actually really impressed. Now the head assembly do actually stumble a little if you drive it too fast, especially up, of course. There is no counterweight on this machine. There's only a brake. So if you were to go full blast with the NEMA 34, you could actually stall the motor. It wouldn't fall, but it would skip step. I have actually purchased a NEMA 42 for the set assembly. I am considering going 42 with X and Y as well, mostly just because of speed. They are closed loop, the one I purchased. The reason I'm going with closed loop motors is just price. I would like to work with servo motors, maybe with the next machine. But this machine, I'm going to have to take my trusty shop vac and just clean out. It was just filled with junk. You can actually see the coolant canal from here up to the coolant tank. I'm not kidding. That was filled with a brim. It's all filled still behind here. But this area was just filled with junk up around to here. And a good ways back. It was just piled. So it's done. Remove the last panel. Just remove the bottom cover. You can just see that's fairly down to the bottom. Just look at that layer. It's over the edge. Are you serious? Holy. You can see it was a little, maybe a little less on the other side. But it went further in, and you can see just this huge block of, I can't even move it. So I got myself a bucket. Excuse me. And I'm going to show you the amount of junk I'm going to dig out of this. If I can get this bucket turned over right.
this rubber mat I can use. There we go. Protect your knees, guys. So. Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh. Well, it's calming work. It's rewarding. You get to see all of the junk being removed from this poor machine. See, it's just massive. I don't even know what it is. Well, yeah, it's rusted, but it's probably just small chips. You can see there's some aluminum chips here. Oh, jeez, no way. Oh, bummer, it goes all the way in. See, it's probably these chips that has rust as the upper layer. Jesus, it's stone. A lot of plastic. It's the soft layer. The steel. There we go, it's all the way. Well, I should probably set up a time lapse on this, just to, that'll probably be a bit more enjoyable for you guys than to watch me one-handed go and poke around in this. I have already cleaned, well, as much as I could reach. Yeah, I'm going to set up a time lapse. Wait a second.